We're, we're on Memches Amid Aleph. Hallel v'Simcha Shmona. We say Hallel all 8 days, 7 days of Sukkot and Shmini Atzeres. And you bring a Korban Shlomim all 8 days, including Shmini Atzeres. Ketzad. That we're chayv in Hallel and in Shlomim on Shmini Atzeres like we are the other days of Yontif of Sukkot. Menonimili. How do you know this? It's a drasha from a pasuk, the Tan Rabbanan. The Hayisa Ach Sameach. The Ach L'Rabos Leile Yontif Achron. That the night of Shmini Atzeres, that the Shlomim that you shechted the day before extends into Shmini Atzeres. You should shech the Shlomim on the Shvi, so you should eat it at the night of the Shmini. And certainly you would do it in the day, which is the Iker, Chayv Simcha. Kishoymer Ach Chilek. You made a difference between this night and the other days of the Sukkot. Why do we include yet the night of Shmini Atzeres, but we exclude that, for example, you don't have to shech the Shlomim Erev Sukkot to eat the night of Sukkot? There's clearly a Shlomim offered every day on Yontif. So there's a day before. Where there's no chiyuv to bring a Shlomim on Erev Sukkot. Mishnah, Sukkah Shiva Ketzah. The mitzvah of Sukkah is 7 days. So if you eat breakfast on the 7th day of Sukkot, you can't tear down the Sukkah. You don't get rid of the Sukkah until now from Mincha on, you could move some of the kalim that you had in the Sukkah that you were using back into your house. In order that you have kalim in your house for Shmini Atzeres. What about Ein Lo Kalim Lahorid Mahu? What is the simon that he's not using the Sukkah anymore if he doesn't have kalim? So the Gemara says, what do you mean Ein Lo Kalim? I mean, what did he use to eat and sleep and drink in the Sukkah for 7 days? You have to have kalim there. Ella, rather, what it means is Ein Lo Makom Lahorid Kalev Mahu. What if he doesn't have any room in his house to bring the kalim in? So how do you show that you're not going to be sitting in the sukkah anymore? So Rav Chia bar Rav Amar Poiches ba Arba. You remove 4 ames of the schach of the sukkah. We're talking about a small sukkah, which is 7 by 7. Once you have 4 ames, that's the majority, then the sukkah is puzzle. Rav Yisha ben Levi Amar Madlik ba Saner. That in a kosher sukkah, a small one of 7 by 7, you're not allowed to light a candle. So by showing that you're lighting a candle, it's clear that you're not holding from mitzvah sukkah. V'lo pligi halon v'lo, there's a machlokes. That means Bnei Eretz Yisrael would reduce the size of their sukkah. And the people in Chutz La'aretz would bring a ner. They had to do something else. Because since they had to sit, the Bnei Chutz La'aretz had to sit in the sukkah on Shmini Atzeres a little bit because of Safek Shvi, they had to do a different simon. They couldn't passel the sukkah. Now, all of this is Hatinech Sukkah Ketana. That's a sukkah that's 7 by 7. Sukkah Gedoyle Ma'ikele Meimar. What about a regular size sukkah? How do you show that you're not intending to use the sukkah, the mitzvah sukkah? The Gemara answers the ma'ayil bo mani mechla. You bring in dirty kalim that you cooked food with. You haven't washed it yet. You bring it into the sukkah. It shows that you're not celebrating the mitzvah sukkah anymore. Used kalim should be kept out of the sukkah. Mani mishtai, but kalim that you used to drink, that you can keep inside the sukkah. Mishnah. Now, during the 7 days of Sukkot, there was another mitzvah that besides.
Ahora no está algo así, ahora está el sonido.
No, pero no era el sonido, estabas haciendo así.
No lo toques más, deja el teléfono allá, please.
Besides pouring wine, libations, down the pipe next to the western horn, they also poured water. They would take a golden jug, fill it up with 3 lug of water from the Shiloach, which was a spring near Yerushalayim. Higiu l'shar mayim, when they brought this water to the gate of the mayim, which was one of the gates of the Azara. Takiyu taku v'heriva taku. They blew shofar, they did trua because of simcha. Olaba kevesh, they went up the ramp. Now, normally they would always turn right and walk around the ramp in a counterclockwise way. But here, since it's most direct to get to the pipes on the western horn, all you gotta do is make a left. So they allowed him to make a left because it's poured on the southwestern corner. And that's the first corner you're gonna go if you turn left. There were 2 sort of jugs made out of silver, which opened up into the pipes. Rabbi Omer shel sid hayo. They weren't made out of silver, but they were made out of like lime. They would become black because pouring wine, it would become blackened because of that. There were 2 like holes to accommodate the pouring of the wine and the water. One was wide, one was thin. Because the viscosity of the 2 liquids are different, we wanted the flow to be exactly the same. So one was wider and the other was thinner. Ma'arava shel mayim, mizracha shel yayin. The one a little bit more west was the one for water. The one a little bit east was for wine. Eresh shel mayim l'toch shel yayin. If, let's say, you made a mistake and you poured the water in the wine one, shel yayin l'toch shel mayim yotza. It's not l'chatchila, but b'diavad, it's not the place where you poured is not makir. Rabbi Yudamer, he argues. He says you don't use 3 lug. All 8 days, including Shmini Atzeres, they poured 1 lug of water. To the one who was pouring the water, they would say, Hag bo yadcha, raise your hand, to show everyone that he's pouring. There was a Tztuki. The Tztuki didn't believe in Torah Shabbal Peh. And the Nisuch HaMayim is learned purely through drushes. It's not written befeirush. Anything that's not written befeirush, the Tztukim didn't believe in. So there was a Tztuki who poured it on his feet. And the people saw, Ragmu Kalam Besrogeyan. And they pelted him with a sroigim. Now, Kimaseo Bachol Kach Maseo B'Shabbos. The procedure was the same during the weekday as it was on Shabbos. Ella, they would fill up a golden barrel from Friday. They it was not mekudesh from the shiloh. Umenicha balishka, so that it shouldn't passel belina. That's why it was not miskadesh yet. They left it in one of the offices. Nishpacha, if it got spilled, or nizgalsa, or the lid came off and you worried that maybe a snake deposited venom and we wouldn't be able to drink it, then as a last resort, they would get water from the wash basin. Wine and water that were left uncovered overnight, since it's unfit for human consumption, we're not allowed to drink it because of potential venom that's there. Anything that's not accessible for human consumption, you wouldn't throw on the mizbeach either. Now, Menon and Mili, that this was the minhagim by the Nisuch. Amra Vena de Amra Kra Ushavte Maim Besason Mimainei Yeshua. To teach you that the water was drawn from a spring. Hanutre meaning. There were two apikursim, Chad Shmei Sason and Chad Shmei Simcha. One was called Sason, one was called Simcha. Ormele Sason LeSimcha. Ano adif neminach. Sason said, I'm better than you, Simcha. T'chsiv. Sason v'Simcha yasigu. So Sason comes before Simcha. Ormele Simcha LeSason. Ano adif neminach. I'm better than you. T'chsiv Simcha v'Sason la Yudim. So Simcha goes before Sason. Ormele Sason LeSimcha. Chad yom shavkoch v'shavich farunka. One day they're going to leave you, and they're going to make you into a shaliach for me. Because it says, that the simcha is going to be used as shaliach to deliver sason. One day they're going to sort of turn you into a jug of water. Right? They're going to draw water from sason. A min named Sason said to Ravo, Atiditu timlu limayim la'alma da'asi. You guys are going to fill me up with water in Olam Haba. T'chsiv ushaftem mayim l'sason. Amalei yaviksiv l'sason, that we're going to fill mayim for sason. Fine, we would agree with you, Kidikamen. We're going to use you as a vessel. We're going to turn you into a jug, and we're going to fill you up with water to pour water. We don't have a full understanding of this whole dialogue between the meaning.
Yeah, I was just thinking, what are we learning from all this? What is all this about?
So, some Meforshim say that the pasuk Ushavte Mayim B'Sason, we lay it on Shmini Shel Pesach, which is the Haftorah that relates to the Mashiach. We've always explained the word "min" means Maimin Yeshu Notzri. These were the early Christians. So we were trying to make fun of that whole perek because they darshan that perek as it relates to, Yeshu Anotzri. That's one way, that's one pshat in what this is all about here. Then back to the Gemara. All about Kevesh Ufanal is small. We said that he can go up the ramp and turn left. He has to go right. Normally, when you go up the Mizbech, you turn right. And you go around him and keep him the ordin derech small. Except for three things. That she'oilin derech small, you can go up and make a left. When there's a lot of people bringing in ola sa'of, you can, and there's a lot of action to the east, you can go directly west by turning left. Then we said that these vessels were turned black because of the wine. I understand the one for wine would become black because you're pouring wine there, but the maya mashchir, water doesn't turn something black. Why would it turn black? So kivin to amar mar irish shamayim l'toch shel yayin v'shel yayin l'toch shamayim, because you could pour either one into either one. And that happened. Yatsa shel shalmai masi lashchuri. There were times where they poured wine in the vessel for water, and it would turn black because of it. Then we said it had it had two openings. One was bigger than the other, so the flow would end at the same time. The Gemara wants to say that Lema Masis and Rabbi Yehuda Yivlo Rabbana. That our mission must be Rabbi Yehuda, not the Chacham. This not. Rabbi Yehuda, I remember Belogai Menasech Kol Shmona. Rabbi Yehuda says the Nisuch HaMayim was also with one log, not three log. The Rabbanon Ki Adadi Ninu, because the Chachamim is the same shear, three log of wine and water. So why should there be an opening that's bigger and smaller? So it must be according to Rabbi Yehuda, since there's different. So you have to have a larger opening so the one log would finish the same time as the three log. So Gemara says no, afilu temer rabbana chamr samich ma'ay kolish. No, even if it's equal, three log, wine is more viscous, is thicker. So you needed a larger opening so it would flow as easy as the water flowed. That's logical. The Rabbi Yehuda, Rachav the Kotzar Islay. It should say wide and short. The Tanya Rabbi Yehuda Omer Shnei Kashvos Hayusham. There were like two jugs. One was for mayim, echad shel mayim, echad shel yain. Shel yain pia rachav. The one for wine, the opening was wide, and shel mayim pia kotzar. It was short. So Rabbi Yehuda wouldn't say dak and me'uba. He would say kotzar and rachav. So it's clear that the Mishnah is like the Rabbana, not Rabbi Yehuda. Then the one that was a little bit west was for mayim. He poured the water on his feet instead of down the pipes. And the people pelted him with esrogs. And as they threw an esrog, the keren of the mizbeach got damaged by one of the esrogim. So eviu bulshal melach ustamu. They brought some salt and they filled in the defect. Not that this would be the primary way of doing it. I mean, we didn't want the mizbeach to look damaged. Shekol mizbeach shein lo lo keves v'lo ken v'lo yisod v'lo ribua. A mizbeach that doesn't have a horn at the corner, a ramp, a foundation, and square, pasul avoda. And Rabbi Yehuda, even the middle, halfway up, there was a sovev, like a little walkway that the Kohanim could walk around. According to Rabbi Yehuda, you need that as well. Otherwise, the mizbech is possible. Okay, so tomorrow we will learn